Hello everyone, this is Shad Reyes and this is SIF 2021. With me is Dr. David Rizik. He is the chairman of SIF meeting. Dr. Rizik, phenomenal meeting. Yesterday we didn't have to meet, and to wrap up yesterday, which is the second day, no, today is the third day. A lot of stuff happened. Let's go over it step by step with you.
Well, what we have tried to do is to create a very pragmatic, very practical meeting in every respect that we can. And we try and look at, for instance, yesterday, the deficiencies that we see in coronary intervention. So for me, we don't do enough invasive physiology. I don't think in this country we do enough invasive imaging. So the entire meeting was geared around trying to teach and trying to instruct and trying to share ideas about the best way to do coronary intervention. And most of it was elective stuff yesterday. We talked about when we use IFR and FFR on the most complex lesions.
It was heavy physiology yesterday.
Really heavy physiology. And you saw some incredible intravascular ultrasound imaging, both in the lectures and in the live cases, and some amazing OCT work. It's my opinion, Shadi, that most people either don't know how to use OCT, are afraid to use OCT. I mean, when you're talking about precision coronary intervention, I think OCT is an invaluable tool, and we try to really highlight that. Absolutely. We highlighted some new stent technologies yesterday. The new Megatron from Boston Scientific, which is a reinforced...
Tell us more about it, because you are part of the innovation of that stent.
It's about roughly 10 microns thicker, the struts, than the Synergy stent, and it's reinforced on the leading edge. There's 4 connectors, and it's reinforced so that when you place this into a vessel, you worry less about the longitudinal foreshortening that can occur with a stent. Really, if you look at the MAUD database, all stents can suffer longitudinal foreshortening, and this is a reinforced stent to help ameliorate that
problem. So
problem.
It's one-to-one sizing in terms of length.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
We talked a lot about Shockwave yesterday. I think one of the big winners in this meeting is going to be Shockwave.
Absolutely.
We saw some great cases. We saw some case examples, some live cases, and I think what we saw with Shockwave is this is going to have a very broad application. We talked that maybe some people aren't comfortable with high-speed rotational atherectomy, and this has a place in debulking or plaque modification in the cardiac catheterization
Today was
laboratory.
a perfect illustration of feasibility and deliverability of this balloon when you were doing a live case in the lab and Alok Sharma on the other lab, and he was waiting for the rotor to come over, and he said, okay, I will do Shockwave.
He took Shockwave into the left main because we had the rotational atherectomy equipment. He took Shockwave, he took Shockwave into the lab and did a left main with it, with an absolutely spectacular result. Perfect. So I really think that take-home message that plaque modification, there's other tools out there for plaque modification. We saw CSI, we saw rotational atherectomy, and we saw the new Shockwave device. Another thing that I think goes perhaps underrepresented in meetings like this is radiation safety.
Oh yeah.
Radiation safety is an incredibly important consideration for interventional cardiologists. I'm 31 years into my interventional cardiology career, and I have no idea what my bone marrow looks like, and the lead that we wear, cataracts, and the lead that we wear really does cause some orthopedic problems.
Absolutely.
Right. So we highlighted the new Protego system. It is a barrier shield method, and we did 2 cases, two very complex cases, and got 0 radiation in both those cases. I am so excited about that system, and I hope what we can do is build a consortium of cardiologists nationally who will begin to create some science around this, do some research around this, and some publications around this. Because if you think about this, it doesn't just affect the interventional cardiologist, but think about the nurses in the cath lab.
Absolutely.
We do 1 or 2 cases in a day. They do 10 or 12 cases in a day.
Every day.
Every day. And their aggregate radiation exposure is just spectacular. So I was really excited about that.
It was great. And today, one of the things was highlighted to complication management. And I think we learn a lot from complication management. I would rather see it here or another meeting rather than having it and don't struggle how to do it. And Dr. Lombardi today illustrated a phenomenal taped case from his lab with perforation.
Who better than Bill Lombardi to teach us about how to manage these complications? I mean, he always says, when you become a CTO operator, it teaches you how to manage complications better, and it teaches you how to improve your PCI technique. And there's just a great illustration of cases, including one of my own complications that we showed. A really great illustration of how to manage these complications and how to manage them thoughtfully, carefully, and without a lot of angst or nervousness in the room.
Yeah.
That was really a terrific
I always
illustration.
want to ask you a question about your passion for live cases. You are kind of, I think, the world leader in live cases in terms of moderating, hitting the teaching point that's important that the audience should listen to. Where did this start and how did you start with that?
You know, I used to go to TCT and watch the live cases, and I would watch what they were doing, and I would literally pine to be able to do that. I was desperate to learn how to do that. I've always been comfortable with a microphone, but getting comfortable with a microphone and performing a procedure is a whole different skill set. But you know, I think there is no better teaching methodology than the live case. And speaking of which, I think you saw some incredible live cases. We saw a couple of mechanical circulatory support cases, a left main equivalent yesterday, a left main today, and some
calcified
RCA. We saw some great live cases today. The theme yesterday was don't be shy about imaging. We should be imaging 75-80% of what we're doing.
Absolutely.
We should be doing physiology, invasive physiology. One of the themes yesterday is what happens when you get to a lesion and you can't dilate your balloon. What's the algorithm? And then today, one of the themes was what happens when you have a balloon uncrossable lesion.
And they showed us this algorithm.
Ashish Prashad has a beautiful algorithm for that that we had to employ, and I think we had to employ about 6 or 7 of the methodologies on that. So each of these days of SIF builds on the day before, and probably my favorite sessions are the mechanical circulatory support sessions. I think we've been a little apologetic, my own personal opinion, about employing MCS. I think we have to be appropriate with the use of it, but when it is appropriate, not be shy about using it.
Absolutely.
And I think you saw some live cases and some great presented case examples.
Absolutely. And the shy maybe is access related, but I think defining the patient that need that MCS is very important. And you don't have MCS regret in the middle of the case.
Absolutely. One of the cases that was shown was a patient with vascular disease who had complex disease, but they made the decision to put MCS in up front because A, it was appropriate, and B, you didn't want to get halfway through the case and not be able to get access into the contralateral groin. So just some great examples of mechanical circulatory support, including with structural and valve cases.
Absolutely. Well, Dr. Rizik, congratulations again for a phenomenal virtual hybrid meeting. The attendance was phenomenal. I would let you comment on the number of people of attendees and the virtual attendees as well. But this has been a great experience, and I think you are putting a first step toward going back live to meetings like this.
I'm dying to get us back to normalcy. So
thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Shadi.
For you all there, please watch this video and others on SIF YouTube channel. This is Shadi Reyes from SIF 2021. Dr. Rizik, thank you so much.
Thank you, Shadi.